Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So in this one, I'm going to tell you all the whole story with Schwab and what happened. So I think we finally have a resolution, but I've spent quite a bit of time on this. And I will just point out, no transfer that I've ever done in my investing career has really ever been easy. There's one I'm working on with E-Trade right now that basically is 4,300 in cash, and it said they need 2 weeks to move 4,300 in cash. So go figure. Last time I checked, I thought we lived in the 21st century, but who knows? So anyway, with Schwab, had a good conversation with a rep today. It still seems kind of strange what happened. But basically they're going to correct the dual loss that it showed because that was erroneous on their part. And basically the guy told me they talked to like 3 different departments and they were stumped. No one knows exactly what happened. But anyway, what I did today, oh, look at that, 666. What I did today, oops, sorry about that. There we go. I'm back on YouTube live now. So what I did today in this, what's left of the Roth over here, because I had a short position, honestly, I have like a headache after dealing with all this today. But because I had a short position of $900, and I have a position in SMCX that got assigned, I went ahead and sold covered calls. And this is like basic options training for you all. So I went out to March 20th, 2026, $50 calls. So I took in about $1,234 in premium net of fees, and that basically covered the short position. So now I have a positive $380 in cash. I'm confident I'll realize all this one. This will be an easy slam dunk. I'll get called out of it at 50. Now my cost basis, as you see, this is easy math. What's 5,737 divided by 100? Correct. $57.37. Wow, did that one quick, huh? Because you're just dividing by 100. So it's 57. So basically, without this little negative cash balance, which I still don't even fully understand, but I don't care at this point. I just, I'll look at it again later, but I've spent enough time on it as it is. But anyway, basically without that, it would be 1,234 divided by 100. So that would be 1,234 per share. But it's actually the net cash balance is 380 divided by 100. So it's $3.80 that I'm adding to the 50. So you would say, well, wait a minute, coach, you're actually losing money, right? Because 57.37 minus 53.80 is like a $3.57 loss. That $3.57 is going to be a key number throughout this video, folks. So stay focused on that. For those of you that are tuning in, please remember to smash that like button if you enjoy what I'm saying. This is going to be really valuable because anybody doing a complex transfer, you have to remember, your options, there's always a chance. And it's rare for me to get exercised, but it happened midway through the transfer. That's what basically threw this whole thing off. It was frickin' High Tie of all companies. High Tie covered call threw the whole thing off because it got called away. And to be honest, if you want to know my unfiltered opinion, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I know that brokers have big, market. I don't want to call them market movers. They can be, but they have broad abilities. Let's just say it's just fishy that option just happened to be exercised. It's not hard for them to link, somebody that's long that position with somebody that's short, and do that transaction. So I'm just saying it's rather fishy. But obviously the employees I've dealt with at Schwab today have been very helpful. So I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. So basically, this account, this position, so you would think I might be losing $3.57, which ironically is the value of the High Tie shares, but I'm actually not, because if you look here at transactions, I've taken in premium. I made about another 1,000. If you look over here, where did it go? So this is just showing today. Let's do current year. I don't know why this is doing this. Here we go. So for SMCX, if we look at, this isn't what I want. I just had this up too. Come on. All right. So the shares were journaled over, as you see, because I made a little bit of money over here. There's 2 ways I made money. I made money on lending them out. So a couple of dollars, $38, $35, give or take. Now, this is why I will not lose on these shares here, because from June 27th, I sold basically at $57, which is my strike price. That's the price that I bought in. I sold, I took in 15.79 and then bought back in August when there was a big move. So basically between this and this netted about $1,000. Divide that by 100, I netted just under $10 a share. So basically when I sell, even though it's selling, $50 plus that premium, I'm more than breaking even with all the premium. So I don't care at this point. I'll let these go. This was actually a separate issue. Like the guy explained, this had nothing to do with the high time move. So what I was really concerned about here, and I guess I shouldn't care if they fix this or not. But what they've done in my Roth IRA, they've created like 2 losses here. So, and they don't know why this happened, but they opened a case to fix this. So they're going to remove one of these. So basically what happened when high tie, I got exercised on high tie, but the transfer actually started a day before. I got exercised on September 24th, which you see here in line 3. The transfer started on September 23rd. So Fidelity read that I still had these shares of high tie. So they get called away, creating a short position in the Schwab account. So then Schwab goes and buys it for me, which results in 39.27, which they cover immediately because you can't have naked short positions open. So anyway, this shows as a $4,000 loss. It's going to skew my number here. And I've, of course, my actual last number on Schwab, which I'll post in Discord, is like 210. But anyway, I guess in a way it's a little bit of a tax break because the more they show stuff like this, even though it's erroneous, it comes off your cost basis, right? So anyway, but they are going to fix one. I guess when it's all said and done, I should have just let them, let it go. But let me see here. So yesterday, it's funny because I was taking screenshots because each day, now here's what's crazy, and I guess this is the case for any broker. I moved money to try to cover my position so that I could move my brokerage account out of Schwab. I moved money on Saturday, and it's still not going to be clear until tomorrow. Hold on a second. All right, so here's what I want to show real quick in Discord. I'll do this in a second. Let's see, pay the piper. Yeah, big day. Amazing, right? Keep pushing options. EZD says people will come around to them. ETFs and options combined is a way to go. IMO. Rod says, I love Schwab. So I'm actually on another thread with Rod and another group of YouTubers, those of us that go to New York and stuff like that. And I actually asked them for some feedback just in case I had to go the legal route against Schwab, but everything's all under control. But I just can't believe that they did this to me here. They doubled a loss. Now, here's what happened. So this isn't actually a loss. I'm actually going to end up coming out ahead because I have these shares at Fidelity now. So now I have, remember, I had 1,165 shares. So I still maintain 65 shares no matter what. The 1,100 shares I have with Fidelity now. I bought them at $3.57, ironically. So, and I think high tie is going to keep running up. So that I'm fine owning it. I'll just hold on to it. I won't do covered calls on it anymore. Now, one thing I do want to say, and I appreciate what EZD said, keep pushing options, but nothing I say is advice. I'm a coach. I call this coaching for entertainment purposes only. If you like something I do, everybody's their own individual here. So, I mean, if you like something that I do what you please with it. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm showing you I'm very successful, 90% win rate trading this year. But I do want to emphasize that it's not financial advice. So with that being said, so now we cleared that up. So they're going to fix one of these. But actually my final, this is my final realized gains and loss with Schwab before they skewed this here. And honestly, folks, I'm not steering anybody away from Schwab. Like I'm not upset at them anymore. I get it that things happen. And like I said, every time a transfer happens, it's complicated. But anyway, before the mistake, this was my gains and loss. I was at 210,484.16. So I put that in the Discord before, this happened. There will be a $4,000, loss that comes off of this now. I know, pay the piper. I should have kept Connell, right? Anyway, because of this transfer, see, the transfer is actually costing me more money because I closed positions to try to free up cash. But what I find ridiculous in this whole thing, this whole saga, is that the fact that it takes 4 business days to move cash. Okay. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. So I used to work for Chase. They came up with the real-time payments. And I thought back in like 2016, when they came up with this, I thought the rest of the industry would follow along. I thought Chase would be the pioneer and the rest of the industry would follow along. Well, here we are almost 10 years later, and we're still operating in the 20th century, basically. The fact that it takes 4 days to move cash is ridiculous. And then, so there's like 3 pending things going on. There was this situation. And then with Fidelity, there's 2 other transfers because like every day, and I have a specialized person working with me. And this all ties in, by the way, for those of you that joined that are like, hey, wait a minute, the video title said 500,000 in option premium. That's what we're talking about. This all ties into realizing that option premium by the end of the year, which is going to happen, by the way. So let's share that next. So Google Sheets, I've got Google Sheets up over here. I want to go over, let's see, here we go, perfect. I want to cover SMCX. I want to cover that because there's some, lies and misconceptions out there. But anyway, so positions I have open for premium, essentially, that add up to 500,000. Let me make sure here. There we go. So I have Datadog. I have a covered call on Datadog that generated me about $1,000. Chipotle, give or take 500 or 600. MSTU, I have thousands because I have a lot of contracts open. SMCX, of course, is a 6-figure position. And then you see the other yield max positions I have over here. That's the Schwab stuff, which is going to be at Fidelity tomorrow. Hopefully, knock on wood. And then AMDL, I've taken about 20,000 in each on those. CoreWeave, another 20,000. MSTU, I've actually been assigned on it. And then I have puts on MSTU. NVDL is printing right now. I'm loving NVDL. Although I think it fluctuated quite a bit today because I was way up. I was up to like 96. Let me see where we are. This stuff, I feel like it's either delayed or not always accurate. No, we're at $96. So this one, I'm going to win all of it because we're like it's blown past my strike, basically. I have another 6-figure SMCX position opened here. TQQQ have calls on that, calls on TSLL. Which I'm fine getting called away. I'm going to make like 15,000. If I had waited, it would be even higher. But you know what? I'm fine with that. That's like, in a way, it's weird. I feel like stuff starts going up once I sell covered calls. It's almost like I somehow trick the market into going up. I told you my short-term timing is not great when it comes to short-term like timing on individual stocks and stuff like that. That half of the quote will get snipped because, people out there like the mainstream media, and they like to deceptively take a part of your quote. The full quote is that, as far as stocks and the stock market, in the short term, my short-term timing, like you see with TSLL, my short-term timing is not great, but my long-term timing is absolutely phenomenal. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't have made, over 300,000 trading this year. So that's the second half of the quote. But, media types and, different people like to take what they will out of stuff. But anyway, okay, so that's the first part of the Fidelity. And then I have VT. How about this one? VT, for the VT fans out there, I have 100 shares of VT. So I did a call and a put on it. So I'll be out of this position probably in March. So wheeling it basically. And then in my other accounts at Fidelity, I have MSTU, SMCX at the strikes here, TSLL, MSTU again at 8, SMCX, TNA calls. Same thing happened with TNA, by the way. As the market, as it started to go up, I had sold a call on it. So my selling of the call, it's almost like it was chronologically aligned with it running up, which happens. Like I said, again, short-term timing, right? Same thing with SMCX. You can say the same thing. The short-term timing on the August trade was horrible. But now I want to go into that because I want to show you all. So 70 was the maximum strike price I went. I never went higher than that. And just to prove that, I want to show you my lot details here for at Schwab. So on July 30th, this was the one that I was way down in. I'm still down in part of it. I did these at 70 at the time. So I'm still down like, 34%, but it's coming back. Now I sold at the same strike, but I sold more contracts when it plummeted. So I basically dollar cost average. So now the entire position is up by $7,000, which is I'm very happy with. So, but under the covers, part of it's at a loss, part of it's at a huge gain. It's timing, So, but overall, that one's up. And then I did the same trade at Fidelity, and you'll see most of my lots. Now, here's what happens: they fill on a FIFO. They fill on a FIFO basis. So, first in, first out for the accountants out there. I do know accounting. Like I'll say, it's not my forte, especially forensic accounting, which I had to do today, which my head kind of like is just all over the place right now. Let's see. Rod says BMNU. Let's check that one out. I love comparing ideas here. This is great. So I'm sorry. See, I'm getting a little dyslexic here. BN. Oh, that's rec shares. I like it. I'm going to add it to the list. This is long BMNR. How about this one? Wow. Doing well. It's printing. It's printing today. So let's look at BMNR. Bitmine immersion. And somehow I'm already following that. I probably got 1,000 stocks in here that I'm following, but it was on my list of what I'm already following. So Bitmine. So that one's printing. Anyway, I want to go over my lots here. So on a FIFO basis, that's why you'll see 1, 1, 1, and 1, and then you see 10 and 6. So it should add up to, in total, I think I have, so the 10 and the 6 and the 4 was actually all one move on the same day, but it filled at different times of the day. So it's actually 20 contracts total. Yeah. So because of the FIFO, the way they do fills, and Fidelity, so why I'm moving everything there, because they're phenomenal and their fill prices. So you'll see, again, July 29th did the same thing, still at a 30% loss there, which is less than the Schwab positions, by the way. But then my lots from there are up 16%. So we're coming back significantly. And then let me show it in the other ones. Just want to be transparent with you all. I like to clear things up. So you'll see every trade here. You'll see the strike price was at 70, not 100, not 90. And then I never bought back at a lower price. I bought them, or I'm sorry, I never bought back at all, but I never sold again at a lower price. They're all at 70, and you see right there. And then here's my trades from Schwab. You'll see, now I included a couple other ones here because I did covered calls at 58. I bought to close $53 puts. Oh, that was July 28th. That one was right before it tanked. And then I opened the trade at 70 here. So you see 70, 70. I did it 20 contracts, then 30 contracts. So this trade here for the forensic accountants out there corresponds to this for the forensic accountant detectives out there. I also learned something, by the way, when you're using the free version of Google Sheets, you can't go past column Q, which is kind of crazy. So anyway, market's open for another 9 minutes here. Let's see how we're doing. So I covered all the positions. So this, folks, what you see right here, this is going to make me, well, I've already taken in 500,000 in premium, which I have over here. Let me see. I've got so many tabs here. So the last 90 days of 2025 is going to be epic. So it's 507,000 to be exact. I'll have to reduce my realized premium here because of Schwab's little boo-boo. But that's that. Welcome to Pirate Justin, by the way. If you all are enjoying this, please remember to smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate that, and it helps the algorithm. I think this content, honestly, is more valuable than the dividend content, but as we know, the dividend content SEO is better. But anyway, so I think I have explained the Schwab situation fairly well, and the Fidelity situation. Let me just go over real quick. So the Fidelity accounts were printing today, and actually the Schwab ones were too. So by the time this all moves over, it's what the thumbnail says, like 1.2 million combined, which those are numbers, folks, that I just am so just grateful to God, grateful to, just everything, all of you, like the fact that I've reached this level, and it accelerated when I became a YouTuber, when I started meeting a lot of you all and comparing notes. It's the value of community. It really made me a lot better at this, because like I say, and I give credit to 2 or 3 specific people, and I think one of them is on this live stream, and you know who you are. But my strategy is about 70 to 80% of what you all were doing, but I created my own version of it. I'm a lot riskier, I think, than you all were, and still are, but in a bull market, it pays off. And I'm just the fact that we're even using these figures now on YouTube is just amazing, really is. So let me just show real quick here. So Schwab, we're looking good. We're looking good over here. The market's doing well. I guess the market likes a government shutdown. Who would have thought? So you see Schwab is up decently over here. And then this is Fidelity. So when these combine, again, everything's going to be over here. Fidelity, that's that. So I've got like 4 accounts over here now. And yeah, just couldn't be happier right now. It's going to be a good end to the year. So AMDLs finally. Here's my 2 AMDLs over here. One of them was actually 27,000 in premium. CoreWeave was 18,000. I could actually buy this one back. MSTU, I'm way down on it, but I'm confident in what do you call it? I'm confident in Michael Saylor and MSTR and all of that. And we showed, by the way, the core reason for moving these accounts is because of the interest that is coming in from like FDRXX and the SPACs. Now, I want to address one last thing before I end it here. I had a commenter on Discord talk about tax ramifications of the money market strategy. As I understand it, and of course, this isn't tax advice, but as I understand it, my knowledge of the tax code, I believe that every dollar in interest that you make is taxable. So, whether you're taking in, like, because he tried to say, oh, I found a 3.8% that's non-taxable. No. AI may tell you certain things, but every dollar in interest you make, basically taxes are on it like every dollar you make. So you got to realize that. But anyway, that's pretty much going to do it. So I wanted to clarify all of this. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for all your continued support. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe and join the Discord. And we will see you all in the next one. Take care. Have a great night. Bye.